I'm good. I'm nursing a little bit of a competition hangover, but I'm good, Ree. How are you?
Awesome. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. This is Coffee Talk, brought to you by the Regal Company. I was going to say dance company. I don't know. Maybe I'm having a vision of my own dance company someday. We're passionate about dance education. We're passionate about supporting other dance teachers and studio owners. And Coffee Talk is all about that passion. How's that for today? Laura, so you have a competition hangover. I'm sure there are people who will be listening to this live or on demand
Yeah.
who also are feeling that way.
Yeah, we had our last regionals this weekend. And I know before on Coffee Talk, I said I had a competition director and she's there most of the time, but this was our last regional and we had 3 graduating seniors. So I was there start to finish pretty much. I had a couple later mornings where I arrived, but yeah, I rolled in the house at 11 p.m. last night. So it was a long one, but it was worth it. It was worth it. My 3 graduating seniors are like special to my heart. So I wasn't going to miss watching their senior solos because that was it. The beginning of the end.
And were they with you most of their life journey thus far, my friend?
Yeah, 2 of them I've had since they were, I think, 6 or 7, because I've been open for 13 years. And then the other one has been with me for 4 years. So yeah, so it was just, yeah, Ree, from being a teacher, like watching that last solo. My company director and I, we were fine the whole time, and then we had 2 of them go back to back with their solos. And usually we watch from the back, and when they're done dancing, we get up and run out to the like the lobby to greet them. And her and I, we didn't move, and we just sat there, and I just like put my hand on her lap, and she just like we both like cried for a second, and I was like, okay, like let's go. Like we like knew it was weird. Like we had that moment, like that was it. Like we're never going to see them do that again. So yeah, it's like you're
That's our job. You can't mourn that. You have to be grateful for
oh
that
yeah,
because next year you'll be sitting there again, pushing another bird out of the nest. Ooh, how was
yeah,
that?
yeah. And it's sweet when you meet them in the lobby. They all hug you and say thank you. But the one was like sobbing, and she's going to Ohio State as a dance major. And she just hugged me and she just kept saying, thank you so much for everything you've done. Oh, I'm going to cry now. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me. You got me where I am. And it's like, oh, it's like when you have those moments, it's like, oh, that's why I do this. That's why I do this.
Can I say, I know this is probably not what you expect, but as a teacher who works with teachers and studio owners, you get
Mhm.
that same connection. Even when,
Yeah.
like, you're in the Gold Alliance, when one of my students sells their school and they're moving on,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. You watch and you go, wow, been a part of my life and my journey. Now moving on.
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting that the teaching part of my journey hasn't changed. It's just adults. And
Yeah.
I'll add to it, adults may have the same issues. Even dance teacher adults, there's a lot of the things that we deal with our own children
Yeah.
or our own students is what I mean
Mhm.
to say there. Yeah, it's
Yeah, for
interesting.
sure. For sure. How was your weekend though? I'm sure you didn't spend it in a competition auditorium, did you?
No, I didn't. I did see it was a big competition weekend. You could tell when you hit Facebook or Instagram
Mhm.
that it was a big one. No, this weekend I started packing up my home, which is the Dance Life Retreat Center. Um, I think I'm in a purchase and sale agreement place. It's hard for me to say that out loud, but
Yeah.
I'm smiling as I'm saying it because it's something that I have been ready for a couple of years.
Mhm.
But the thing about packing, first of all, you have way more crap than you really need. Like I have 500 t-shirts. How did that happen? should I ever look at another T-shirt for as long as I live and go, I need another one. Like, but it's a journey through your life.
Uh-huh.
You know, on Mother's Day, I was seeing my mother in pictures and family, and like you're packing up a journey. It was, I can't say it was, I was excited to do it, but man, 2 days, all day long, building boxes, putting it all away. It was
Well, you're like really moving along then. You're like packing.
I jumped right away because I have a conference. I got all these other things coming. So any free moment, I've ordered a dumpster. Any free moment is going to be preparing for this big journey.
Yeah. No, because time flies, especially like once spring and summer hit, it just goes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're gonna have to start preparing. I mean, you've been preparing all year round for the Dance Eye Teacher Conference in Seoul, but like it's like crunch time is coming, and it's gonna get here very quickly. Right?
We're there, my friend. Lots of changes, lots of things happening this year. Anyway, so we're talking recital. I think I heard you say earlier it's about 2 weeks away. Or do I have that right?
I'm a little bit longer. I'm June 22nd, so I have a little bit longer than our 3, wonderful ladies who we're going to see in a couple minutes. So some of them are a little bit sooner than I am, though.
Got it. Okay, you guys, you know what? We're coming back talking about recital. I believe this episode is called It's Recital Time, and I'm happy. And before I play this commercial and bring in our guests, know this is why I wanted to do this particular seminar. All of you who are in recital season, who are saying to yourselves, wow, I'm overwhelmed. This is more than I can take, or I'm sick of this. Know that you're living your dream. And the day that it's over, you're just going to love everything about it. So why don't we start off enjoying the journey? Okay, we'll talk about it after. Here we go. Hey, welcome back. We have some great people to hang out with. Those of you watching live, let us know where you're from, what you're thinking. Feel free to put some questions in for our guests. Vicki Wallace, Stacey, Hedy. I don't know why I just used Vicki's last name. Let me start that again. Vicki, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with Hedy. Miss Hedy, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. And when's your show? When's the most exciting day of this year for you?
Well, hi, everyone. It's Hedy Perna from New Jersey, Central New Jersey. 36th annual production coming up June 15th and 16th. 4 shows, Father's Day weekend. Hey, Erin. So yes, you would think that by now I'd have it down pat, but for some reason every year's a surprise, and every year's.
Wait, you stressing a little, maybe, or no?
I don't know. I don't call it stressing. Like when my husband, March Madness in our house is big, basketball, and Pat's all about the basketball. And March Madness to me is studio. That's when it all starts. It's March Madness. Vicki, I've talked to me about this. It all starts in March. And it's that ball starts rolling and rolling. And we have all these balls in the air right now, and they've got to drop. And they're starting to drop now. And I'm just hoping they get into the right little places where they're supposed to. Because it's this since March Madness.
Thanks for being here, Hedy.
Oh, I'm going to tell the truth.
Oh, no, that's why you're here, my
I was just going to say that, Ree. That's why she's here.
Vicki, tell us about you and when your show is, and are you as excited as Hedy is?
I love Recital Day. I think it is probably my most favorite time of the year. It is more my favorite time of the year now because I don't do as much with it, but ours is coming up on Saturday. And this will be our 21st recital. And we do 6 shows in one day. And we've narrowed them down to their 45-minute shows. We start at 10:30 in the morning. Last show's at 6. We average, I would say about 75 to 100 kids per show.
Perfect.
And we get them in, get them out. We keep them the whole time of the show. And we get there at 7:30. We finish at 7:30. So honestly, my biggest stress is being on my feet 12 hours in heels all day.
No flip-flops backstage? That's my go-to. I have to.
I'm with Vicki on that. But I'm also with Laura, where sometimes at a conference you'll see me in my sneakers, but when I hit the stage, I'm in a pair of dress shoes that were sitting on the stairs for me to put on when I walked up.
Yep.
The feet thing is big, and I'm sure it's really big at the recital. Vicki, nine? Did you say?
We have 7 shows.
7.
Or 6 shows. I'm sorry. Yeah, 6
How
shows.
much time in between?
We have about 45 minutes in between. So by the time we shoo them out the door, we have about 20 minutes before the next group starts checking in. So we cannot go over. We have to keep it on time. We sit there and watch our clock. If it starts at 10:30, as soon as it's 10:30, we start. And we've got it down to where we know exactly when it's going to end. And if we have one little child that's running late and we have to stall, we have to find out where to make up that minute or so. But it's fun. It's fun keeping it on track and making it work.
Vicki, I'm sorry, Ree, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How many numbers do you have in each show? Like well, first off, can I just tell you, once we switched to smaller, shorter shows, that's something that we did at Libra during COVID, like after COVID. Mm-hmm. And it was when I tell you my parents love it, my dads are like, I'll pay more money to be in a 45-minute show than an hour and a half. Like they love that. They love that quick turnaround. But how many dances do you have in your 45-minute show?
We try to average around 12.
Nice.
Yeah. So it is a lot better. And we did used to have hour and a half class or shows, and we keep the kids the whole time. So to entertain 3 and 4-year-olds for an hour and a half was just ridiculous. So 45 minutes is very doable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Stacey, how long have you been doing this? I know it's a big year for you.
Yes, this is our 20th season. Super excited about this recital. We do 2 shows in one day, Memorial Day weekend. We do an 11 o'clock show and a 3 o'clock show. Nice. And I'm very excited. We're having a party afterwards, and we actually start right after recital ends. Like, we start taking notes of things that we have to fix or things that worked or didn't work. And I feel like we start in September and just start planning. But very excited.
Yeah, so I know that and it's not necessarily the people on this call, but I know that growing up as a kid, we only had the recital. And maybe we did a dance competition or a dance convention, right? The recital was as big as Christmas.
Yeah.
And
You're absolutely right. It's big.
Mm-hmm.
It was, as a kid, something that had the most memories, not the memories of the dances. I know that's crazy, but the dressing rooms, the backstage, the dress rehearsal, right? When you had to do it again.
Mm-hmm. The crazy quick changes. I feel like you get whiplash. At least at my recitals, I'm like, are we here? Are we there? Like, it's like, what? If people only saw, like, if the audience only saw what goes down backstage, they'd be like, whoa! It's organized chaos at mine. Like, truly, I'm sure it's like
Absolutely.
with all of you too. But it's just those quick changes, especially my last show. It's all my company, my senior level dancers and graduating senior solos, and it's like, woo, I'm just like, are we here? Are we there? Do we have 12? We have 6. Where's the rest of them? You know, it's just like, it's like what you can get done in 30 seconds when those lights go out. It's amazing.
I want to know, for the teachers or studio owners who are, let's say, in that last few week crunch, what do you say to them, those who might be thinking, oh, I can't wait until this is over. I can't wait until the day after the recital. I want to say something to those people. Hedy, start us off.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you that I hear people say I'm in the done club and they're like, oh, I'm done. We're never done. Just like Stacey said, we're constantly, where is this done club? And, you know, we love what we do. Let's be realistic. This recital is the most costly event we're going to put on, most timely to produce. Most effort, most anxiety. Why can't we just enjoy it? It's part of our lives every year. So, like, yes, we're gonna freak out here and there, but it really, like Laura said, this is the greatest thing. This is our culmination. Our kids are gonna remember, of course, not the things we want them to remember, but for us, it's the biggest event. And it's the most income producing too. We've got to look at it this way. This helps us get through the summer. So let's enjoy this. Bring it on.
Okay. Couldn't have said it better. Stacey, you have anything to add to that?
Well, I totally agree. We, right after recital, we're already starting to plan. So I just am so excited when we're at recital, and it's such a stamp of our studio. Like, it's just, it gets people to come to our studio if they just came to visit, you know, to watch the show, or if they're thinking about coming to the studio. I feel like after recital, all the families are, you know, saying our praise because how much they enjoyed it. And just to see those kids on that stage, the ones that aren't on the competition team, they're just the rec kids that, you know, just get one chance to get on that stage. I'm thinking about them all year.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Hey, Louis Pabone, just want to say happy 62 to you.
That's amazing.
Louis, hope you're well.
Louis has been doing as many recitals as I am old. Did you get that?
Yeah.
62. Isn't that interesting? So, Vicki, what would you say to that person who might be like, I'm stressed?
You know, I do have some of my staff members that do get stressed, and it's mainly because they are the ones outside of the auditorium keeping everything going, and they don't get to see the show. So we're kind of wanting to kind of like streamline it to them so that they can at least enjoy what the kids are doing, but they honestly don't get to see the show, and all they hear is, we need the next number. We need the next number. So we're working on that to kind of make
Mm.
it more enjoyable for them, because they see all these kids, they're with them, but they don't even get to see their performance.
Hmm.
Laura, I'm letting you go because I take up.
Oh no, you're fine. So I think I'm in year 13 at this point. And you have all been doing this, you know, most of you double from what I've been doing. I always think back to my first recital and how special it was. It's actually saved in my favorites. There's a picture of me dancing on stage with, you know, my 45 dancers behind me for my first show. And it's one of my favorite photos ever from my whole studio owner career. But I think back to that first recital and how stressful that was and how overwhelming. So I think I want to kind of take it back and say, with the years that we have, like wisdom wise, what would you say to that first year studio owner or second year studio owner? What's something that like we have learned over the years that you can kind
Ooh.
of younger ones? I know for me, it's delegation. For me, doing it all myself, my recitals have gotten so much better because I have processes in place and I delegate things, and it's not just me wearing all of the hats. Once I started to give some hats away, my recitals got bigger. My recitals ran smoother when everyone knew what they were doing. So that's something that I would say to a newer studio owner. But like Vicki, what would you say to a new studio owner, first, second year recital, and they're going into it in a couple weeks?
You know, and I would say don't compare to other studios.
Mm,
Make your show the best you can at the capacity that you have to make it, and build from there. I know some new studio owners want to make it the best they can and overdo what they really are capable of doing with the
mhm.
staff they have, and just kind of gradually grow into what you want it to be in the end, and not try to do it all your first year, because that would be very stressful. Not if you've got high expectations and you can't hit it because you physically don't have the staff to do it,
Yeah.
that's stressful. So just take your time, build it over the years, just make it better each year until it's where you want it to be.
Yeah. That's like one of those things, it's going to naturally grow. I've noticed that with my studio. It's like, and I'm sure you've all noticed that too. It's like you have that natural growth from year to year, word of mouth, the friends come in, but that's going to allow, you know, what you're saying, your recitals to naturally grow in that way too. So not rushing, I think it's key. What about you, Stacey? What's something you would say to a newer studio owner?
Well, definitely having a great staff behind you. I have a great husband that helps out a lot. Um, and I think you do. You grow from the first show to the next, just taking it slow and write down all your ideas so that you don't forget them. Because as I get older, I just forget. I have to write everything down.
Well, I even like that you said that you have like a recap at like the end of your recitals. I feel like my brain always wants to do that, but then like once I close the curtain, I'm like, blah. Like my brain like goes do 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 do, and it like shuts down for like a 48-hour period until I like wakes back up and reboots. But I love that you take notes. That you
I
said,
do. As soon as I get home, I start writing, and I have it like on a little bulletin board. And then when I have my retreat with my staff, that's the first thing we talk about is what worked and what didn't work. So then we go back through my notes, and then, they add to it. So having a great staff, someone behind you that's saying, don't be stressed about this, I got it, is a big help.
yeah. And I definitely feel as a newer studio owner, it was hard for me to decipher what staff fit with the culture of my dance studio, if that makes sense. That I was young. I was 25 when I opened my studio. And I feel like once I hit like my early mid 30s, I knew what I wanted in my staff members. and I knew like the expectations and the culture and our mission statement and all of that and like who fit into that. So, but I think that does happen over time, right? Like to get that strong staff. And how about you, Miss Hedy?
I feel like not even just at recital time, but anywhere in my work, if I'm organized, I'm less stressed. Just in day-to-day things, and especially with recital. So I have to be super, super organized. I don't allow the parents to have any part of being backstage. It's just faculty, staff, and alumni that I invite back. Some things are unavoidable, even as well organized as you are. But the buck stops here. If I give an appearance of being stressed or not knowing what I'm doing, then it's contagious through not only my staff but the kids. So even when I don't know what I'm doing or something unavoidable comes up, I have to have that game face. I'll never forget this. One of my first recitals, I was talking to a maintenance guy during the show. Something was happening and kids were coming up to me saying something about whatever, shoes or something. And I was really calm with them. And the maintenance guy goes, boy, you're really good at this. But I wasn't. Inside, I wasn't. I was like, oh my God, shoes, this is happening. There's no electricity. But like, if you give this calm demeanor, your attitudes are contagious. So no matter what, and that doesn't, but organization is key. And I believe totally what Stacey does with the debriefing of the recital. After the show for 2 days, I'm in a coma. And then we go and then we have recital debriefing, actual forms that are sent out like Google forms to my teachers, to the staff, to the people in the front lobby. What went right? What went wrong? To rebuild for the following year. Where did this little mishap happen and was it handled and what position were you in and were you always at that position? So I agree with Stacey. That kind of follow-up is so important because you're on this high. It's like childbirth. You forget, right, Stacey? You have this baby, you forget about the pain and you're ready to go again. Well, you have to have a meeting with the doctor and he says, this is what you got to do. So we have to have that meeting with our people to say what happened.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. So we're so dramatic this morning. I love this. Welcome to the show, my friends.
Really?
I want to tell you something that is legend. I don't remember it because I was too little, but I heard the story from her over and over through the years. My mother put on her first recital, went home and locked herself in a room and wouldn't come out for a whole day because she was so upset. Wow. And she said, and I never, ever didn't do a great recital again. Do you get that? Like what happened was she was upset. So the next year she put on this awesome show, and that was something she became known for. But the first show she didn't feel good about. So she was pointing out what she learned in the process. So some of you that might be younger know that you're going to jump into the fire, do the best you can, and you're going to learn and get better every single solitary time that you do it.
And I think I really appreciate what you said, Hedy, about staying calm and looking, because how you feel as the captain of that ship that day and what you're projecting does go out like wildfire. If you're running around like a crazy person, people are going to be like, ooh, like when people walk into my lobby, I'm like, hi, everyone, you look beautiful. Welcome. Like you're like the welcoming committee, right? Or the people who are the staff that's there, they should be speaking like that to the people in the lobby, praising the little ones, how cute they look and helping tie ribbons. And right. Like that's our job. Our job is in my eyes, I'm like, that's like creating Disneyland in that auditorium for that day. Like that's my mindset. It should be magic. Right. And you never see anyone at Disney World stressing. I'm sure they're hot. I'm sure they're tired. I'm sure they're hungry, but you don't see it.
I do. Humbug. I do.
All the kids.
The kids are having a great time. I don't understand any of it sometimes.
But I think that's a great point. Like making sure that how we how we're presenting ourselves as studio owners is really important, because it does trickle down. It trickles down to all of them, all the way down to the littles.
It does. Laura,
Hedy,
I do
tell
want
me-
to say that, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you'll remember this phrase through the years. You don't have to be organized. You must appear to be organized.
Very, very
That
true.
is the key. And Recital is exactly one of those moments. Go ahead,
Exactly,
Hedy.
right on. I just wanted to say, for new studio owners, I do remember that a lot of times I was harder on myself with the results of my show when the audience, like you say, it's Disney World, everything is beautiful for them. And I think that curtain was held 3 seconds too long, or that one, I remember this distinctly. It got back to me backstage before the show that there was a mother in the lobby counting how many heads were lined up, saying, time this time, $15, whatever it was back then. And I was like furious that she was trying to count my money. But now, by the way, that mother's grandchildren come to me now. But anyway, but this is what I'm saying. I think of things that the audience might have said, or they think everything's beautiful. And I'm looking at the little things and holding on to that. And it took me years, literally years, to not, like, one person could say something and everybody else would love it. And it took me years, literally years, of being like your mom. I feel like I had to be, talked off the edge many times because I just hung on to that one thing.
Yeah. It's like when the
Let it
99
go.
your show. Yeah. When the 99 love your show, you can't get rid of that 1%. It's like that negative comment or whatever it may have been. And I do think that it still affects me, but not as much. And I'm 13 years in. But
Yeah.
before, like when I first opened up, it's like that's all I remembered for the week after the recital, and it ate at me. It ate me away, and I couldn't think of the other.
Perfectionists.
Mm-hmm.
We're perfectionists. We put so much time and effort, year round to do this biggest event that we've invested in physically, monetarily, our reputation of the studio. Like you said, Stacey, people come back because of what they saw on the show. So it's like, we're all in. We're all in for this, but we have to put it in perspective.
I feel like I have given, and not even realizing came from the putting on recitals, but like my daughters got married. Now a lot of our dancers are getting married and they're stressing over their wedding. And it's just like a recital. It's like the things you stress about, no one else even notices. It's like, yes, maybe your flowers is missing one little color, or, there's no sense in stressing over it. No one is going to notice the little things that didn't go the way you wanted them to, ever. And like you said, from the outside, it looks perfect. Backstage, it's kind of like the duck paddling underwater as fast as you can.
Does anybody sit in the audience during their shows? Laura, Vicki, Stacey, do any of you? Because I'm really thinking this year I might just go into a seat for the whole show. Yeah, me. I'm thinking that.
I stand backstage, and every dancer that goes on, I greet them. And, just I'm sitting there, telling them to smile and point your toes and all this good stuff. I used to, when we were smaller, before I had so many, I used to have pixie dust because I'm a big Tinkerbell fan, and I would dust every toe before they went on stage. And I'd put a little on their cheeks so they'll point their toes and they'll smile. But now with 700 kids, that's kind of hard to to do that.
A lot of pixie dust.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
That's
even the kids now,
so nice.
yeah, the kids that I have that's already graduated and like seniors now, they actually told me about, and I forgot about it actually, but they said the one thing we miss the most is the pixie dust, and they're in high school right now, graduating. But
you should do that their senior show. You should do that
yes,
their senior show.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, like oh my God, that would bring them to tears.
I know, it's this weekend. I will do that.
Yeah.
don't let it go by us that that's something they remember out of all the experiences right there. Like, how easy is it for us to make a memory that lasts a lifetime right there? That has nothing to do with how good a teacher we are or an award we won. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey, where were you during the show?
I'm running around like a chicken with my head chopped off.
I wanted to ask that question because I just have that feeling.
Yeah, I'm back there, but I'm everywhere. So.
And you're happy to do that.
I am. I live on it.
Mm-hmm.
Busy.
Okay, I want to ask you this question, each one of you. What was your most I'm making this word up. What was your most favoriteest show?
Ooh.
I know mine. Of
Go.
course. We do themed shows. We didn't do themed shows for a long time, but 6 years ago we did Disney. I dressed up as Tinkerbell and the Pixie. That was my last year of Pixie Dust. But that was my favorite because every one of our staff members was a Disney character. And I think it was the kids' favorite, and it was really my favorite.
Wow. Cool. Stacey.
I think my show was during the pandemic when we were outside.
Really?
Showed that we do it all.
Yeah. The
Well,
show.
I wasn't necessarily expecting you to answer that way, but I could understand it. It's like you're all surviving together. Like,
yes,
the theme
and
doesn't
so
matter.
appreciated.
Yeah. I think that was our most appreciated show too, Stacey.
Mm-hmm.
We had like 10 mini outdoor shows in August of that year. And I've never gotten so many thank yous and so many thank you cards and thank you emails and just like heartfelt posts tagging our studio because nothing else was happening.
Right.
You know, we get them every year, but that year in particular, it was overwhelming how many we got. Yeah, it really was. It probably helped that I was 9 months pregnant during all of that in 90 something degree heat, you know, with my big belly doing, you know, on the side. I was like,
Right.
it was a sight.
I want to go to Hedy and ask the same question, but I want to say something about what Stacey said and what Laura said. You know, I used to think when we were in our toughest times and people were figuring out how they were going to run their recitals, I used to say, someday people are going to look back and go, you know what? There was things about that time that made it the best time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. None of us want anything like it ever again. But here we go, looking back and going, wow.
Yeah.
Some of the best memories were made during the toughest time, especially in the dance field.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And our strength. Okay, Hedy, what was your favorite?
Well, I just want to go to your point. Some of the best things for the studio came out of COVID for me, as far as recital, the 90-minute shows, no intermission, the 2-minute routines, no more than 2 minutes, like 2 minutes. My recital formula changed after COVID for the better, 100% better. I used to do the 2.5-hour show and intermission and the whole thing. And now it's the parents love it. The kids love it. It's sleek. It's slick. It's slick.
Mm-hmm.
So COVID was good for some things. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My favorite shows. I can't, it's like picking a child.
I knew you were going to answer that way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's some shows that really affect the students. I mean, because it's a learning process. We start in January. Every kid, no matter if they're even in tots, knows that they're so critical to the theme because I literally carry the theme out really tight. So Greetings from the Garden State was such a good lesson about our state. But I think one of the most funs recently was games people play. We did the mouse trap. The little tots slid down a slide and the mouse trap came down on them. Mystery Date, which was my favorite game when I was a preteen with my sister. So we did the whole Mystery Date with the doors opening and, the bum was there. And then I don't know if you remember that game. I just loved it so much. Scrabble, Rock and Sock'em Robots. We had actually robots, them dressed as robots, Candyland. So that was just a lot of fun for me because it was nostalgic for me.
I gotcha.
Cool.
I have a memory of, this was the first time The Little Mermaid was out in the, I'm going to say it had to be the late 60s. And my mother did The Little Mermaid. And back then, black light was big. Do you guys remember black light? Yes. And a mirror ball. The curtain opens and there's these wheels. And they have fish. They have like octopus and all kinds of sea creatures on the motors that mirror ball would be on.
Wow.
Water in the back. And the curtain opened and the audience cheered. And I can remember that recital because all that scenery was made in our kitchen and my mother worked so hard on it. Do you know what I mean? And it looked like an aquarium and fish swimming. It was the coolest thing. And it sticks out in my mind as a recital memory. I wasn't dancing. I don't even know why I was sitting in the audience, but I remember the curtain opening and them applauding.
Ree, you must have such a different perspective on this because you're like a child of a studio owner. So we're talking about like, how we do this all year round and this is our but like you really lived it with your mom, which is neat. Like I'm going to experience that with Cole, like making the backgrounds and ordering this and like you actually saw what it takes every single year to make this moment happen, right? Like it's I'm curious to see what Cole will think about that, like later on, like the appreciation.
Best memories of my life. But wait, and then we need to go back to you guys. Here's two things that I remember. One's really kind of sad, but historical. One time I go up to my mother who's sitting on the edge of the stage and she's got a styrofoam cup next to her and I think it's a drink. I pick it up, I drink it, I drink turpentine. Off to the ambulance I go, to the hospital on a dress rehearsal. Another time, my mother had a dress rehearsal the day that Robert F. Kennedy died and it was canceled. So I remember that we didn't have, or maybe we did the next day, but we didn't have a dress rehearsal because on that day, we were supposed to have it and the like country closed down. So those are some things that I remember about being a little kid in recital. And the turpentine was the most ridiculous thing. I never drank from another glass again.
Does turpentine not have a smell?
I was too young to pay attention. I could tell you stories. They're not dress rehearsal stories, but my mother did deal with a lot with her two twin sons who turned out okay, but at that time, tough. Okay, back on track. Hedy, what's a memory that you have of a dancer or a student that either at the recital or in your studio that through these years you often think back on?
Okay. So this might be a little bit of a curveball, but then this is for like Laura because she is a young one too. Graduation's a big thing at our show. It's Liza's graduating year. That's my daughter, my only daughter. We had 21 graduates that year. And typically I do the graduates on stage with their teacher and the whole thing. But when it came to P for Perna, I said to the audience, excuse me a moment. And Pat and I walked down the steps and we had carried 2 folding chairs because I wanted to be a mom at graduation. And I can look back and say, yeah, all those shows before that, your child, and Ree, you're like your mother to all these kids and they count on you for everything. And to your child, your mom moment, I really needed to be a mom. And if I could say anything to any moms here, always remember your family. Always remember your kids because that time goes gone. So that was something that I'm glad I did and was it selfish? Yes. Did I, worry about what a parent would think?
Selfish.
No. Well, because I stopped the show because it's such an organized, thing, but I did it and I'm glad I did it. And Laura, your child is young and I'm sure that, all the other studio owners have kids and everything comes before them. Yeah. Right, Ree, with that winter coat?
Yeah. But Laura, I just have a feeling not only will stop the show, she'll run a Lifetime video of her. I know, Laura.
We'll do a duo, him and I know. Could you imagine?
How about you, Stacey?
I have so many good memories with different kids, but my daughter got engaged at Recital. So we have a big screen and he planned this video. I sobbed, she sobbed, we all sobbed.
Oh,
that was a good memory.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's special. And now I believe you have 2 grandchildren out of that marriage, right?
Yeah. I wanted her to do a baby reveal, but that didn't go over.
That was it, Mom.
People were done with my family by then. They're like, all right, we're engaged, but that's it.
Your auditorium's probably not big enough for you to do a baby reveal. You'd have to have more seating and all of that.
Right.
You, Vicki, what comes to your mind?
Honestly, nothing. The only thing that I'm even to this day am just so glad we did is we created a class for special needs and they started performing in our recital, and just seeing them perform and my granddaughter being one of them and watching my daughter watch her daughter and be so proud that she's able to do something with dance has been just, if was my only reason for doing this studio, it was worth it. Because she doesn't do anything, and to have her be able to actually perform, which my daughter's has always said, I want to have a daughter who can dance. And so that's very, I think that's one of my favorite things is watching my daughter watch her daughter dance.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's a full circle moment.
Right.
And I would have sounded like my grandmother. That touches my heart because all 3 of you reacted about something that was really about your family. And you created a moment within your family and you connected it to what you do and who you are. Do you realize that was the response? I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have so many of those memories. I'm going to just do this because I'm going to do it fast. Embedded in my mind. And by the way, 30 years ago this year, because we're in the 60th year of the studio. My mother being sick, and she kind of moved out of the studio at that point because she was going through all of her treatments and stuff. But she used to sit in front of the stage at the recitals. So now we get her to the recital. She's sitting in the front, and Rennie and I are on either side of her. And we said, welcome to the 30th annual review of the Sherry Gold Dance Studios. And people stood up and started cheering for her. And my mother was sitting there, her head was down. I go, Ma, this is for you. And I'll never forget that moment. So you do make an impact, and an impact that lasts a long time. We're 30 years later, and there's people who still are in that studio family who were there 30 years ago. Like you said, the grandchildren, we're doing special things.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any final words of wisdom? I feel like I just told that sad story, but wait, it's not a sad story.
No,
No, that didn't feel sad. It
no,
felt
not at all. It's
a moment of appreciation, right? Like
Yeah.
that was her moment. Everyone, that was her moment.
And I would not have that memory if it wasn't for dance and it being a huge part of our family. For those of you out there who have a whole family in dance, and it isn't easy sometimes, I guarantee you as time goes on, you're going to cherish even the uneasy times. Remember that, because this is a gift, and you pass it on, not only to other students, you pass it on to people in your family. And they may never even teach, but they'll have the passion to run your school. It's a very interesting journey. Okay, give us some final words of wisdom. Vicki.
as a dance studio owner, I feel kind of like what you said. We touch people in ways we don't even know we do. And, just being ourselves, giving them the opportunity to build a life and a family within a studio, we have no idea the impact we have on so many people. And I do feel like even when times are crazy, even when we think we've screwed everything up, we are doing good work. And we all need to just be proud of what we're doing and know that it's benefiting so many people.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hedy.
Particularly during recital time is the one time that I allow myself to say it is what it is, because I've always thought that that's kind of a cop out throughout the year when I could fix things. But at recital, because remember, nobody sees what you see. It's okay to say it is what it is. Everything's going to be okay. It really is going to be okay. If nobody gets hurt, if no parent or grandparent falls down the steps of the recital, what is it? It is what it is. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. So give yourself some grace for that weekend. It doesn't have to be perfect in your eyes, because it'll be perfect to other people.
Yeah.
And before I go to Stacey, I want to elaborate on Hedy. Cherish the 200 people who say awesome show. And that one person who might have said something that you're wondering if they really like the show, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that 200. Stacey.
I would say just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know I'm running around in the back, but I do stop and just watch. And I feel like you just need to take time to enjoy what you work so hard on all year. And then plan a vacation. Plan a time to get away and rest after recital.
Did you do that?
I will. I do it. Yes, every year I do.
I know a lot of people who do that, and it really makes a difference. I even know some who leave
Absolutely.
the week before because they get it all together
Oh no.
and leave. I know. No, that's not possible.
Not this girl, but maybe.
Listen, we have to accept all points of view, ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, this was fun. Thank you for hanging out. Laura, thank you. Everybody,
Thank you.
enjoy it. This is your living your dream, and the chance to point that out to you, and the chance for you to maybe walk in if it's this weekend and go, how lucky am I? That's what I want to do and what we all want to do. Enjoy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.